Betio Abusia enem da adofo a ya ye wofa etwa na ni hwe dan na wotweda won mo baaye ba ba chichire yenwere ye ni ankasa ye president His Excellency Nana Adodankwa na Vice President Baumia wo mu nyina baaye eni adofo afiri mia baaye dan ye hu yie sampa se ye wofai na ye nanan nipa won ho do oni e baaye besensan krata e wo fie e be chichire busua eni kunafo ni ema ewere ye da wo mu nyina se ni enimie se e china ye kope no kurabe yi se di omhye bebo a ye be pepa ye ni ase ni suo no wonu be ba be kan ho biewu na ya kura na chi kura ye da mase sie eni kaja eni asida urade enkam ho na de mohwere wo ye ofa na wo tweda ni na yim nyina no urade ensa enhyem ye da mase ensa da amen.
Akenten Appiah-Menkah was born on July 3, 1934, to Eno Akosia Bosno as her fifth child in the village of Abuja, Ashanti, Ghana. His father, Ochiamiam Ponsaidia, linguist of Ofunso Paramount Chief, had died 4 months before Akenten's birth. He started his primary education at Amuako Methodist, but later enrolled at King Council Catholic Primary School. Through the efforts of his uncle Appiah, the chief of Abuja, and one Mr. J.B. Arthur, a Methodist school was established at Abuja that same year, and Akenten was enrolled in Abuja Methodist School, where he successfully completed in 1949. In 1950, he got admission at the Zion College of West Africa at Anlaga in the Volta region, then the British Togoland. After a term, he left and continued at Ebuaka State College, Abusko, in Chebi, where he eventually completed with a second class in the Cambridge School Certificate exam in 1953. Since there was no automatic entry to the sixth form advanced level at that time, he had to sit for another exam and finally got admitted and enrolled at Adisadel College, Cape Coast in 1954. Akenten was a courageous and self-motivated man who resolved to break the jinx of poverty in his family. So he risked his life stowing away in a French cargo ship called Banfora from Takrady to Europe in 1954, where he enrolled at the Northwestern Polytechnic in Kentish Town, United Kingdom, for his A-level matriculation certificate course. As a man of vision with determination to achieve success, Akenten was admitted to study law at the University of Manchester and successfully graduated in June 1959. He went on to sit for his bar exams at the Lincoln's Inn and passed. He returned to Ghana in 1960. While in Ghana, he went under the pupillage of NYB Adade at Hesianum Chambers, Kumasi, until 1962, when he and lawyer Frifa formed a Frifa and Appiah-Menkah law firm, also known as Ofunso Kwabri Chambers in Kumasi. Appiah-Menkah showed signs of nationalistic tendencies and passionate support for the cause of African emancipation and liberation movement that had been spiked by Dr. Nkrumah way before he left Ghana for England. He was filled with African liberation sentiments that had engaged the political consciousness of the leaders at that time and thought the time had come for the up-and-coming Ghanaian intellectuals to join the bandwagon of Ghana's total development. This explained why he joined CPP, the party of the ruling government. But after 2 years with the CPP, he found the CPP ideology was not in tandem with his core political beliefs. He therefore left the CPP to join the Dankwa Dambo Buzia tradition and played no mean a role towards the fortunes of the party. Between 1960 and 1969, he worked as a private legal practitioner. He was also engaged in the publication of Ghana Pictorial, a monthly magazine which was later banned by the CPP government because of the publication of an article which preferred Ethiopia as OAU headquarters to Ghana. Appiah-Menkah, as an entrepreneur, acquired a 600-acre land at Okrofum near Obuasi in Adansi and commenced oil palm plantation in 1968. In 1977, Appiah-Menkah Complex AMC also came into being and manufactured Apino soup and King soup. In 1969, he enrolled into politics and joined the Progressive Party and became a member of its government in the Second Republic. Between 1970 and 1972, he held two ministerial positions, Deputy Minister for Trade, Industry and Tourism, as well as Deputy Minister for Justice and Attorney General. 26 months after the government was toppled by the military led by Colonel Appiah-Menkah, Akenten suffered unduly for his role towards good governance, rule of law, and the safeguarding and uplifting of entrepreneurship. His efforts were unfortunately hampered at various times as he was rolled into imprisonment 5 times for his uncompromising stand against dictatorship, culture of silence, and all sorts of human rights abuse. Appiah-Menkah loved tradition. He never played low on his traditional duty as crier in Sanye in the court of the Asantehene. He diligently rendered loyal service to the Golden Stool. He will be sorely missed for his brilliant performance and success in defending renowned and successful entrepreneurs who appeared before commissions of inquiry. To sum up, it was his desire to see industry and private businesses thrive in this country and Africa. His goal was to sensitize the Ghanaian middle-class entrepreneurs to strive to achieve economic independence and empowerment that would ensure Africa's breakthrough from the perennial economic downturn. His hope was that the emergence of successful and strong private sector will bring to an end dictatorial tendencies of the African political leaders. By way of emphasis, the late Akenten Appiah-Menkah, like many others, cherished multi-party democratic good governance, rule of law, respect for human rights, transparency and accountability in the operations of government and national institutions. Akenten Appiah-Menkah was the chairman of the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party (NPP) in the Ashanti region. He will forever be remembered for his insightful and revealing literacy that attacks the ills of society, while at the same time preferring ideas for solutions. For instance, in his book, The River in the Sea, he tells of his life's personal story as well as his local politics. He left behind a wife, Mrs. Rosamond Appiah-Menkah, and 13 children.
He was the pillar of the party in Ashanti, and almost everybody went to him when they had problems. I have sat in a few problems that had come before him, and I listened to him, and he was very objective and straight to the point. He never deviated from these things. Kweku was honest. He was very honest. May the good Lord keep him in his kingdom, look after him, because he served and he served well, both in chambers, both at the courts, both. If I served Ashanti.
Shocking news. And I informed my wife Cornelia that Apino is gone. She said, Kwame, how can we envisage Ghana without Appiah-Menkah? That set me thinking. Appiah-Menkah is one of the few Ghanaians who was interested in making sure that things work without he himself being identified with a lot of his successes. He left his footprint on the industrial scene of Ghana. Appiah-Menkah together with the late Esther Oklu, Afregesi, Akwa Harrison, Dr. Addison, Emia Mwaku, established what is now the Association of Ghana Industries into an international group and advocacy for all businesses in Ghana. It is on this issue that he broke with his close friend Esther Oklu to say that we cannot allow international companies, their employees, to become members of this organization, because when we lose through bad policies being imposed upon us, you, Appiah-Menkah, and I, it is our pocketbooks. The international employees do not lose anything. Appiah-Menkah said, no, we need an advocacy group well researched to support us to be able to negotiate with the government for industrial policies.
The two of us were elected into Parliament under Professor Buzia in 1969. I was the Deputy Foreign Minister then, and he, for some time, was Deputy Minister for Justice and Attorney General. Also, later, I think, Deputy Minister of Trade. So we've been colleagues over the time. And then when a champion overthrew our government, then the two of us were lodged at the Yasha Fort prison for 15 long months. We stayed in there 1 year, 3 months. We were taken in January 1972 to be let out March 1973. And so, as you know, Kumasi has always been the hotbed of our tradition politically. So we grew in the tradition. So if we're talking of party and losing a stalwart, then I say we can say that of Appiah-Menkah himself, the stalwart of our tradition.
And then party national day. Ashanti region branch national day. Ntokwa bi aba party mu akwaku ne CC or Ashanti region. One will represent Ashanti region. Ewia anajo obi nto petrol mu ni ka mu na ne medical na pa ni 1992 ye politics ni gina wo wanchi emma ye gina wo party no nyinara MPP mano kwaku ma wo bia 500 cedis so mfanye ne campaign satan 500 cedis no na yesika mu ofa party ni si ne sira so okumase oni bikai adu wa hin time yakoni yakoye rally ni ewia ni fie ani nyina akọ biko Kumasi anajo ekọ me de me sen me fefie o kwaku be medidi Rose okuma abo ni wa hwe odi me ye bibia me de ne ye bibia ntina make us a party no ahwere de kase mi anso ma hwere nipa na anso so owu kurade a nkwa ntimenye ye mompaye na nyankopon emfa ne kra ensi.
The party owes him a lot by way of ideas, the propagation of the ideals of the Dankwa Busia Dumbu tradition, the support by way of commitment to the ideals of the party, actually being seen to be sacrificial in contributing to the revamping of the party, reconciliatory measures to keep the party together in difficult times. And one of the things that he will always be reminded for is his stance against so many candidates as well vying for power after the tenure of President Kufuor. From that incident, we developed a strategy by which there will be some elimination series until we had only 5 persons for the final competition, so that it wouldn't look what it looked like at that particular time. In other words, he was a man who was always supporting ideas that will bring harmony, unity, and strength within the party. We will miss him, and we wish him a very restful time in the bosom of the Almighty.
I'm in the area no, the Korean hospital. I couldn't so on it. The peer group in a move was an yeah, and a fast phone for any night in common. Until a Korean hospital or bear fees or so. Now, the cook must be an amafaho. I be sad until you send what to say. It's a bass, honestly, not my shaking. Pa say, Udupon Casancas and Etuno. Now, face so, your bussy and pain and every moon. Maybe a number of fun as a more for precope. Timer in the 1990s, na yenye left a bank crown politics. Na utumi invite a movie. Ene e offer back on so yana baby comes to so a chow. Con office was salam down ho. Make we meetings or it minimum or me papa say me offer politically ne ebusuan yina anti yema yina ho yako. E manti rules ne ma yina yako. Na yen so MPP ebusuan ne Ghana man me gidi say we potoka say me bibi colossus in industry and in politics cheso we obrempon ewo sanu dwumem sai obrempon ewo kambi mamin kambi ne politics ayeye nti se de ade atoye nipa ade akese na ebu atoye ni MPP ahwe ademu fi say Council of Elders or come papa yi se na ye kan say odi politics say Professor Buzia Prime Minister time na yesusa enim say no a Minister for Trade, say Deputy Minister for Trade, yes enti no watna politics ni mo ache e na onim enipa ye enso o politics no apart from that no politics ni hia no MPP asem ni hia no anopa awia enwumere don ukobo no punum bia you are always welcome oshia obia me kai se me personal experience me yes I mean jina MP biem na meba out na mabeboa party no first I would say no ne bufu me papa in fact metumi aka se ohu me kra no opepa na ni ase nesuo kakra that moved me. But I'm ready na late Sibia. Me science samadwen sanka de oka e bia me ne pepe fi se ope obi ayi ope party ni yi enti say de ya hwera de papa ya hwera de.
I first got to know Appiah-Menkah through my late mother, Hanibasofa Oferiata. They were very close, and I remember even when we were in Europe, my mother used to cite him as one of the entrepreneurial lights of Ghana, and what he went through, how he got to where he got to as a village boy, getting the opportunity for education, and then through that becoming, if we are the star of business or Ghanaian entrepreneurship, and how he lost it all through politics, yet the grace with which he accepted the unfortunate political fate that befell him, and how he even managed to build from the ashes. So he was an inspiration for all of us. And when I was encouraged by my my late mother, of course, my late cousin Ferdinand Ayim, and then, of course, the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, to come to Ghana to set up to manage then the statesmen. He was one person that I used to confer with all the time because of his deep knowledge of the Ghanaian environment, business, politically, and his own association also with my family. And he was one critic that he would call and say, no, this editorial, you should have done it this way, you should have done this that way. So I used to rely on him intellectually. I used to rely on him because I had tremendous respect for his knowledge of Ghana's history and his clear sense of direction of where the country should go. So in one of the discussions, we all lamented the absence of ideology as a driving force for political loyalty. We lamented over that, and we cited countries where you have think tanks, research centers that are devoted to one, supporting a political party or political parties in terms of intellectual input, and two, serving as a center for training future leaders. So we had discussions on this, and when he was one of the key people, maybe one of the 3-5 people I spoke to when we were beginning to found the Dankwa Institute. In fact, he was not just a governing member, I would say he was a founding member of the Dankwa Institute. And I'll tell you why. Even the name Dankwa actually came from him, because we were talking about how to enhance the research capacity of the party, i.e. the New Patriotic Party, how to even beef up the communications part of the party, and how to make sure that people don't support the party because of immediate material gain that they think they can get from it, but because they believe that through the ideals, principles, values, virtues, and if like philosophy of the party, and the implementation of those things that are core to the doctrine of the party, our lives can get better, and then the country can get better. So he was absolutely determined that something had to be done to enhance, if you like, the constitution of party allegiance. And he thought that we needed to create an entity that could be independent in its intellectual output, input and output to the development of our democracy, but at the same time clear on its ideological leanings. So we discussed it, and he mentioned, oh yes, there's a, I remember him saying there's a Busia Foundation, but it's still, and he mentioned, but it's still not clear in terms of the political support that is given. So why don't you form a Dankwa Foundation? You know, but at the time we were talking about putting together some research center, some think tank. But then he reminded me there's a Busia Foundation, except that it is not clear that it's a political or ideological, if you like, entity. So he said, so why don't you found a Dankwa Foundation? And of course, we called it the Dankwa Institute. So this really is the story. I mean, some of the key people who contributed to the foundation of this, what has become an established entity in terms of the democratic space.
We should remember, in these sad moments, his wife, Ajua Rose, Auntie Rose, Ajua, who was always behind Appiah-Menkah, running after him in prison in Sawem, wherever he was put, to send him food and be by him. Their house, whether at the airport in Accra, at McCarthy Hill, in Kumasi, was always like a restaurant, feeding people from morning until midnight. He had a great heart. We miss him. But all Ghanaians owe this man a debt of gratitude.
He is the sort of person that I would want to wish him by reciting the Serenity Prayer. While he was alive, he had the courage of David to change the things of this world that needed to be changed. He had the humility of a Job to accept those things he couldn't change. And then he had the wisdom of Solomon to accept those things he could change and those things he could never change.
The only thing is, with time, I'm coming to the reality that once you are born, time comes when you go. That's the arrangement of nature. Otherwise, very sad. Because I had the opportunity to see him just a few months back when he came out of hospital. Ahead of it, I went to Kumasi. I called on him in his house. And we hadn't seen each other for some time. But seeing him for the first time really weak and being wheeled, when I've known him for perhaps better part of 60 years, I've seen this man who used to be so bubbly with life being wheeled. It was a very sad occasion. So when eventually I heard it gone, actually I felt very sad.
Akenten Appiah-Menkah was called so many different names by so many different people. They called him lawyer, they called him Apino, they called him Uncle Elephant, they called him Osnoman, they called him Kukudu, they called him all sorts of names. But to us, he was just Daddy. We just called him Daddy, and he responded on every occasion, regardless of what we wanted, regardless of the time. Daddy always responded till now. We have lost our best friend. We have lost our everything. Our daddy was our everything. He loved us so much. We don't even know how we are going to do this thing called life without him. Daddy taught us so much. He taught us that there are no mistakes in life. Everything was a learning experience. But one thing that he didn't teach us was how to live without him. We have to figure that out on our own now. Daddy, we are going to miss you so much. We thank you for everything that you have done for us. Your children are so proud and so blessed to be called your children. We have loved you all our lives and will continue to love you to the end of time. Ghana has lost a statesman. NPP has lost a father, a mentor. We have lost our world today. We love him. Demi Fedye, Daddy, Daye.